Hello and welcome everyone. Here we have today Dr. Pankaj Mohan, who is a multidisciplinary academician with degree in production engineering management, web technology and quality management. He is a CMI level 5 certified academic leader and his areas of interest are decision science and digital business. Presently, he is Dean Faculty of Engineering and is former Dean of Faculty of Management and Faculty of Education at Gurukul Kangre Vishwavidyalaya, Haridwar. Before turning to academia, Dr. Madan has also worked with two reputed engineering companies for 4 years. Dr. Madan was director at College of Engineering Roorkee during 2009-2010. In the past, Dr. Madan had taught at University of Southern Queensland in Dubai and has been visiting professor to Shaxing University, China, and other famous B schools in Southern America, Centrum Católica, University of Peru, and also University of Tartu in Estonia, Europe. He is also listed as a premium educator with Harvard Business School Publishing, Boston. He is an award winner of B School Excellence Award in his Best Teacher of Operations Management category. In 2016, Dr. Madan created an MHRD EPG Pathshala course on quantitative techniques. He has already authored 12 books, supervised 15 PhD scholars, and one of his books also got listed among the bestsellers of India Today Book Club. He has conducted more than 500 workshop and training programs, and his scholarly articles are listed at scopus.com and researchgate.net. He is associated with 15 universities nationally and internationally and other dignified state institutions like Public Service Commission. Dr. Mohan is a proud member of AOM, AIMA and CSI and professionally linked with many corporate bodies. We are grateful to have you, sir, on this platform.
Thank you, Mr. Praveen Pandey. Thank you so much for such a wonderful introduction of mine. Thank you so much. Please.
Thank you, sir, for your time. I'll be moving to the discussion part. So, sir, being the Dean of Faculty of Engineering Department, what are your roles and responsibilities toward the students?
And accountable for setting up and advancing the academic strategy of the department, rather the whole faculty, and align my strategic plans of this faculty with the university plans. I usually develop and sustain various structures of management, decision making, and also I have to communicate with staff and student constantly. I have to understand the real issues of the students. I also need to create an opportunities of knowledge transfer from teachers to the students, from teachers to industry, from industry to teachers, and also need to look and monitor constantly that our academic curriculum of this faculty should move on constantly, and from year to year it should improve and align with the expectations of the industry.
Great, sir. So, sir, how do you tend to establish healthy relation with the student and fellow faculty in your department?
You can say that staff performance is managed appropriately and in a way that is consistent with the expectations of the institution.
Yes, sir.
So that and this is done by fairly distributing the workload or allocations to the faculty members. I also ensure that all staff have access to all the necessary support infrastructure so that he can fully contribute with his skills and experience to the development of the faculty and development of the students.
Yes.
I also make effective use of staffing resources and seek opportunities for collaboration by building teams of different faculty members. And it can be interdepartment or it can be interfaculty, and most of the decisions are, or the responsibilities are given to the teachers and even the students. A collaborative team is developed, and they are given the responsibility, and so that they can take their own decisions, and the leadership skills, they get developed not only in students, but we need academic leaders also. This academia word, need academic leaders, and I wish that in future there may be many leaders coming out of this faculty of engineering.
Great, sir. So, sir, how do you try to bring in practical approach towards subjects and make it more industry oriented?
We are trying to make changes in the curriculum, and when we call for a board of studies meeting, in that meeting we invite expert from industry also, and all the expectations of the industry or the changing standard of technology, or you can talk about the changing scenario in the industry. So whatever is expected from them, we try to put them in words and then put them in our curriculum. And it is not only that we try to make this curriculum practical in terms just of the industry expectation, but also we see that the students get more and more practical exposure, and this is done by putting many of the part in curriculum which is related to their industrial training or projects. And when we talk about these industrial training and projects, there will be one guide from academics and then one guide from industry. And our teacher, he constantly get in touch with the industry guide and takes a feedback that how is the performance of that particular student, his record is being maintained. And then once he is back, he gives a detailed presentation on what he did in the industry, and a panel is there to judge actually what has happened, what he did in the industry. And then we also try to see if that particular work is ready for patenting or not. And if it is patentable, then we have a cell, IPR cell, that helps the student and a teacher to get that technology or that learning patented.
Great, sir. So, like, student can see the direct impact of their work which they do in industry. It's great, sir. So, sir, what are the best practices offered by the department to the students which help them to gain necessary skills?
In this, we go for summative assessments we use that frame meaningful performance goals. We show them the criteria and models in advance, and we offer them appropriate choices. We provide early feedback, and this is from time to time. We also encourage self-assessment and goal setting by the students, and this is how this helps them to gain the necessary skills. And this is then very well supported by our not only the teaching staff but also the non-teaching staffs who are in lab, and they demonstrate, they show, so that the student gains maximum and get exposed to the real thing, or the more practical things.
Exactly, sir. So
I will take a break.
Sure,
Praveenji?
yes, sir.
Yeah.
What are, sir, your views upon the placement and higher education about the students from your department? Or I would say, if I would rephrase it, how does your department prepare students for higher student or like placement?
I think this is a very good question you have asked. And we prepare students through career counseling.
Yes.
We conduct a lot of workshops for their personality development. And this is on the constant basis. Means we have a special trainer from BHL Haridwar who was GM HRD. He's retired GM HRD of BHL. He has been training our students constantly. Then we conduct mock interviews with the help of their teachers, and also we invite people from industry. Then another aspect is internship and industrial visits, which make them placement ready. And as far as placements are concerned,
Yes,
so we conduct placement in two ways, like one is on-campus placements and other is off-campus placements. We have a separate cell in the university, which is known as Corporate Affairs and Outreach Cell, which has its own placement officer and a licensing officer and a complete staff who constantly contact the companies and people in industry, try to understand the exact needs of human resource in industry in different sectors. They keep on writing emails to the concerned associates in industry and try to analyze their demand. And based on that, they give feedback to the teachers that this is what the requirement is. And then we share their data with the companies, and then they pre-select or pre-qualify some students, and then they appear into group discussion and interview, and like this this moves on.
Great, sir. So, sir, like you have more than 21 years of experience in the teaching industry. So, sir, what are the challenges I would like to know that you have faced, or I would say facing, to uplift the quality of education, like throughout your experience? What have you seen, like the kind of challenges which you
challenges to teachers or students?
So to the overall education industry, to like facilitate the whole education process, like educating process?
I think that we are the fourth largest economy in the world. But if you see our ranking in academics, so none of our institution, they are into top 100. Few of it means a few of the international rankings. Although I feel that most of the prestigious organizations across the world, including Microsoft, Oracle, Google, or you name any world famous organization, and you will find that there is an Indian at the leadership role, right? So
Yes.
there is no doubt about the potential of Indian students. But the only thing is that if you go deep into that, you will realize that those people who are into leadership roles are not actually educated in India. They have got their basic education is up to maybe the graduation level or schooling they have done here, and rest their higher education and post graduation or above that they have taken from different foreign universities and all that. Now, what I am trying to say here is there is a difference between uh, our economic status and our academic status. Means if we are the fourth largest economy in the world, then why our academic institutions are not in the top 10?
Yes.
Right. So we can say that a lot of changes are required. And when I go deep into this, I realize that if you see the criteria of ranking of institutions, then the basic criteria and the topmost criteria is the Nobel Prize.
Yes.
And we have very less professors or academicians with Nobel Prize now in academic institutions. But it doesn't mean that our institutions are not good. So if we go to the second criteria talks about the citation score of
Yes, sir.
individual academician, and this makes the overall average citation of institution, and then it makes the overall citation of the country. So in those terms, I think India has been working very hard and competing with now China, Germany, US, and various other developed economies. And I think that in next few years, it will be a changed scenario, and many of our institutions will be in the top list. But it may take some time, because the criteria which is presently defined by some of the ranking organizations, it is different from what we are doing in our present academics. So, challenge one, this is one of the challenge. There are many other challenges in which we need to integrate our academic learning into and change that into the real product and services. When we see that most of the products around us are either Korean or Japanese or American or Chinese, Indian industry is doing very good. But if we see their research and development or their core technology, so they have imported. Although
Yes, sir.
we have very good academic institutions or research institution in India, but I think there is a trust deficit between industry and academics, and that trust has to be developed between Indian industry and Indian academics, and it is slowly taking place. This trust is being developed slowly now.
Exactly.
So these are main two challenges which I look that Indian academics need to work on.
Okay. And sir, like when you first joined education industry, or I would say when you first joined GKV, what was your vision and how are you trying to achieve it?
I always believed, and it is in line with the organizational vision also, where we say that we want our students to be ethical, concerned about the society, concerned about the environment. So we want our students to be good human being with good technical or managerial skills or knowledge, and they shall be able to maintain a work-life balance also. That is also very important.
Exactly, sir.
So I think that, and with this is the dimension of regarding the students in my vision. But when I see about my own teaching, so I have taught at 6 different countries, and more than in these countries, some of the countries I had cosmopolitan classes with the students from more than 30 countries. But still, I think the expectation of any country is to have a genuine citizen who is able to contribute to the national development, whether it is Europe or America or India, any country. So I think that that should be the way the development of any academician or any student should take place. And we believe in a very strong relationship between teacher and taught.
Yes,
And a time is there when the students, they become the part of our academic family. When we do any type of functions, then it is they are the teachers and the students around us,
yes, sir,
less
exactly.
the relatives, more the academic people. So that is how the things change. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So, sir, coming to last part of our discussion, I would like to know what valuable advice would you like to give to the students for them to have a prosperous career ahead?
I would say that they should not lose the hope, and there is no age to learn and relearn. So they should make their constant efforts. And I strongly believe that every person does not have the same kind of talent, but every person has some talent, and sometimes it is hidden and even not realized by a person that I have this kind of talent. So they need some kind of expert or a guru or a teacher who will actually find out and introduce the student to the talent hidden in him or her, and make him realize that, okay, this is your talent, and this is what you can gain in your life. And then the student also need to follow his guru or his teacher, try to develop himself. So this is what I have to share with my students.
Okay. So, it was great, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for providing us the opportunity to interact with you and learn a lot from you.